Very good.
Hey everybody, it's Alec here, and welcome to the next episode of the show. Today I am joined by
Larry Vivola.
Larry Vivola. Excited to have you on the podcast, and I'm excited to have a great conversation with you.
That's all we can hope for.
We'll hope for the best, and I think we will because
I,
I'm on a good streak of having a lot of great conversations. So the first question I like to ask is, how do you spend your time on planet Earth?
how do I spend my time? I spend my time with my family and my friends. It is by far my greatest hobby. I just love being with my small circle of friends and family.
We do a little bit more than that.
I'll do a little coaching, and that
Okay.
is what I do for a living. But I'm a business coach. I work with entrepreneurs across all different categories. I've been doing it for 15 years now, and I'll be doing it to my last breath on earth.
It's a New York accent, right?
Straight out of Brooklyn.
Love it. So, Larry, you probably have multiple, but what do you feel like is your comeback story?
My comeback story? Oh, I
Yeah.
have a lot of comeback stories. Being an entrepreneur, I always say if you don't have a comeback story, you weren't pushing it hard enough, right?
Yeah.
So, previous careers, my biggest comeback story is basically I lost almost everything.
At what
Everything.
age?
Oh, 38 years old,
Let's talk about it. I want to
four,
know about this one.
four
Dude,
kids.
Larry, you're
Four
gonna
kids.
love this, but I'm coming out with a book called "What's Your Comeback Story?" And it's gonna be a collection
Oh,
of all these comeback stories. I feel like there's not a book on this subject. So yeah, hop into it. What's your story?
that is absolutely great. Like I said, four kids at the time. You know, young kids at the time and entrepreneur my whole entire life and had major successes in business and absolutely incredible. Then I decided to franchise my business, and it was not a franchisable business. It
Well,
was
what's the
a
context?
super powerhouse.
What was the
What's
business?
that?
Sorry, what was the business that you grew? Like, tell us the whole story.
Yeah, it was a pasta manufacturer, second generation business. And like I said, family business out of Brooklyn, New York. And it was a great story, great success story. Won Entrepreneur of the Year, the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, was featured on the Food Network. And then we decided we're going to be the Ray Kroc of the Italian specialty world and went into franchising, and we got it handed to us. We absolutely got it handed to us. It was not a franchisable business, but we had our rose-colored glasses on, swung for the fences, and put everything we could into it, and it didn't work out. And that being said, I have zero regrets because the next chapter is even better. What I'm doing now, so worked
I,
out.
I love it. Sorry, what was the business?
It was a pasta manufacturing company,
Oh,
pasta
what
company,
manufacturing? Oh,
pasta,
pasta
ravioli,
manufacturing.
macaroni.
Interesting. So you were manufacturing food pretty much.
Yep. And retail stores.
Okay, and you wanted to franchise that. What does that even mean, to franchise food like that?
Just the way you would see at McDonald's. Just the way McDonald's franchise.
But it's manufacturing, it's not like a storefront.
No, it was a storefront. It
Oh,
was a
okay.
manufacturing with a storefront. Very good.
Okay, got it. So it was a chain of restaurants,
No, it was retail stores. It was
retail
retail
store.
stores. Yep.
Got it. Okay, so retail stores that sold pasta.
Right.
Why do I feel like there's not a lot of retail stores that like specifically sell pasta? Like
But
I don't.
if you go back to the East Coast and visit the East Coast, you'll find a lot of them.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
So that
So
was my great comeback story.
got it. Okay, so what's next?
That's it. Went into coaching and never looked back. I cannot believe what I get to do every single day of my life. And you know that cliche, uh, you never feel like you're doing a day's work if you enjoy it so much. And that's what I live every single day. So I'm
That's
blessed.
great.
Yeah, I am blessed.
Well, not everybody is problem free. Everybody has their own struggles day in and day out. But I think the most important thing is to wake up and be excited about what the day unfolds. So I'm happy that you have found something that lights you up more than pasta.
It's absolutely true. And I never thought there would be anything else that because I was so passionate about it. But I
Mhm.
found as I get older, pretty much if I'm doing something, I'm passionate about it. If I'm not doing it, I'm not passionate about it. So I believe in hell yeah or no thank you.
Okay, cool. I think there's a book on that.
Great phrase.
So, how did you initially get into coaching?
Believe it or not, I read an article about it
Yeah.
over 17 years ago, and I could not believe I didn't even know coaching existed when I read about it. I'm like, absolutely no way. It was like the article was written for me. I said I could actually make a living doing what I do every single day as my hobby, my passion, and I
Mhm.
couldn't believe it. And then just dove into the world of coaching and never looked back.
What does that mean to dive into the world of coaching? Like everybody has to have some kind of value proposition. They may or may not have a target market. Like where did you start out? Like who was your first client? What were you helping them with?
I cannot. That's that. Wow, you put me on the spot here. I cannot remember who my first pick. A contractor. Okay, very good. A contractor.
Okay.
And what I do with all the businesses, I'm not category specific because
Yeah.
I believe entrepreneurs all have the same problem from
Okay.
sales, marketing, human resource, systemization, financial management, personal work-life balance. So I
Yeah.
didn't want to specialize in one niche. And a lot of my time is spent in sales and marketing, helping entrepreneurs bring in the dollars.
Okay, cool, cool. So when you say contractor, was that like a general contractor?
I was actually a painting contractor.
A painting contractor.
Yep.
Interesting. And what were you helping this person with at the time?
Sales, mostly sales on conversions, how to make the sale. A lot of people get leads, a lot of people, their phone rings and they get referrals. And then we dig down and we look a little deeper. We find there's a lot of room for improvement. And I love to increase people's conversion rates on leads because what that does, if you could double your conversion rates, what did you do? You halved your marketing expenses.
Yep,
So
yeah.
I love the low hanging fruit.
So what are your favorite sales strategies and mindsets to have that have made you and your clients successful?
It's all individual for every client. What we do is we customize a sales program specifically for that person. So, the general advice on sales out there that I see all the time from all the gurus, it's good. There's a lot of great stuff, but I think there's one thing that's really missing is how do you make it specific for the person?
How do you
So
do
they don't
that?
feel slimy, so they don't feel like they're pushing. And like I said, I wouldn't be able to, it's a case by case, it's specific to each client. I don't have an answer for that.
Okay. Well, let's say you started working with somebody. What would be the process that you would walk them through to determine what those answers might be?
We would rip it apart. We would do a complete audit and we would start all the way from the
Hmm.
offer. And then we would take a look at who the target market is. What is the offer compared to the competition? What's their, differentiator? And so many different things like that. And then take all those points and build a system that they're comfortable with.
What do you think are the consistent common problems that your clients are faced with? Because a lot of humans, like, yeah, we're all different, but we're all kind of the same as well. So what do you think are the main commonalities that people are going through that they need help with?
It's exhausting. It's exhausting. Being an entrepreneur is hard. It's absolutely hard. I mean, I say a lot of times entrepreneurs either two things. We're absolutely crazy, or the second thing is nobody else would hire us.
or both.
Well, both. Absolutely. Entrepreneurship is hard. It's a grind every single day. It's every single day. To eat what you hunt is exhausting. So when we talk about motivation, when we talk about, being in a positive mindset to keep it going when the train falls off the tracks, that's absolutely a common thing I see with all entrepreneurs. And the second thing that I find is entrepreneurs, if you really think about it, they have really no one to talk to about their problems because most of the times, the people that they're talking to, they have a biased opinion.
Yeah.
You speak to employee's going to think about themselves. You talk to a significant other, they may have different goals and desires. You talk to vendors who may be selling you something, they have something in mind. So it's a very tough proposition, entrepreneurship.
When you were going through what you did in the franchising disaster and you lost everything or close to it,
Yep.
what motivated you in that time to do what you needed to do to get to where you are? Like, because like, how do you work through the adversity?
Well, the short answer and the quick answer is, like I mentioned, I had four young children. So if there is more motivation than that, myself,
Yeah.
I don't need much, but I brought four beautiful kids into this world, and it's my job to provide for them. So there wasn't much more motivation that I needed than that.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
What do you feel like has been your big, because you're, if I'm doing the math, you're in your early 50s, right?
58.
58. Okay. I want to know, like, at that age, you got to be pretty wise. You've gone through a lot of stuff, which makes you the coach that you are today. I want to know though, like, what's been your biggest breakthrough in like the last 5 years?
My biggest breakthrough in the last 5 years. Well,
Yeah,
it probably has absolutely nothing to do with coaching.
that's
And
fine.
I don't think we spoke about this before, but pre-Ozempic and all the, conversations we have about weight loss now, I was a yo-yo dieter for 30 years and I lost 150 pounds 7 years ago for the last time. I battled my weight for 30 years. It took years to do it and finally break the cycle, but that is my biggest breakthrough personally and it related to
Oh,
business.
you were
I wish there
100,
was Ozempic 20 years ago.
you were 150 pounds more than you are today?
150 pounds. I
How much?
suffered
Sorry.
25 years of yo-yo dieting.
Geez. And how much do you weigh now?
189 pounds.
So you were 340.
And I kept it off. Well, I should say this is much longer than 5 years, but I've kept it off for 5 years now.
Yeah.
So, but that's, if I say one of the biggest breakthroughs in my entire life was maintaining and losing the weight.
Because I know a lot of people that can't do what you did. Like, I know quite a few people, and it's just like, for me, I personally do not relate to it because I've never had that problem.
Right.
Just like I have problems that other people can't relate to. But I want to know, maybe for the people watching this that are struggling with their weight, how did you manage to do that? Because it's not just dieting. There has to be a big mindset shift
It's
involved as
it's
well.
100% the mindset shift. And it's, believe it or not, it's the boring stuff, and almost everybody knows it. Almost everybody knows it. There's nothing exciting, there's no trick to it. It's moderation. And I can piss off a lot of nutritionists and dietitians out there, but I truly believe 95% of it is math. It's the number of calories I stuff in my pie hole and the amount of calories I burn every day. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's calories and nutrition.
100%. But you've always known that. So what
Yep.
was it 7-ish years ago that made the
Look,
difference?
fantastic. I'm glad you dug a little deeper on that. And I go back to that answer that I gave before about business and perseverance. 4 kids. And I was, 47 years old, 336 pounds. And I said, oh my gosh.
I'm not gonna live to see them graduate.
Exactly, exactly. And the big one was 50. I'm like, holy mackerel. I say I'm gonna live to 100. So when it was 50, I'm like, I only have half of my life on earth left, and I've been pushing this really bad. And thankfully, I've been very fortunate with my health. But now enough is enough. Time to grow up. So it was turning 50 years old was a big one, a big light switch that went off in me when I was turning 50.
Yeah, because when you're 50 and you're 340 pounds, you're not halfway done with your life. You might,
Exactly,
you might be
exactly.
80% done with your life.
If you're lucky, exactly. So, yeah, being close to turning 50 years old was an absolute blessing.
I feel like, with every difficult thing, there comes a lot of positives from it if you choose to look.
I
Like
couldn't agree anymore.
every difficult thing, yeah, it's hard in a moment. Oh, it's easy to play the victim card, feel bad, blah, blah, blah. But if you really look, there's so much hidden opportunity in the hardest things. And like we kind of started this conversation with, like, if we don't have a comeback story or multiple comeback stories, did we
We're not
really even
pushing
do
it hard
anything
enough. Come on.
significant?
We have to have some failures in life,
Absolutely.
you know?
What do you feel like having 4 kids? How old are they?
Oh, my youngest is 26.
Okay.
So they're all out of the house. We're empty nesters. We're on Easy Street now.
What do you think are the biggest lessons that you've given your kids over the last 5 years?
Actually, their whole entire life. Gratitude.
Okay.
Be thankful for what you have and don't worry about the stuff you don't have. It's part of our family mantra, man. If you don't have gratitude, you don't have anything.
I love it. When did that start?
Since I was a kid, and my parents taught me that
Nice.
it's all about gratitude.
What
And
is your gratitude practice? Is there one? Or is it just
no,
something?
it's just instilled in my mindset. It's just completely instilled is that we have to be grateful. We have to be grateful.
Not everybody has that instilled in their mindset. I actually would say most people don't. So, what advice would you give somebody that knows gratitude is the answer, but they're having trouble making it more into a habit, that mindset in their own life?
I don't know because I really didn't struggle like from as far as I can remember. I was grateful. I don't know. I'm sure there's exercises and mindset things you could do. The only thing that pops up in my mind is maybe take a second, take a deep breath, and whatever situation we're in, realize that it could be worse. That's all I could. I mean, I use that a lot, but it's subconscious, Some of it could be worse. You're driving in traffic, and everybody goes berserk sitting in traffic, and then you pass that car that's demolished, and right away you get a reset in your head, and you're like, are you really complaining that you're 20 minutes in traffic when the
Yeah,
person in that vehicle could be dead and not going to get a chance to go home and see their loved ones? So I guess that would be the one that it could always be worse.
for sure. Do you feel like gratitude, when you start working with your clients, do you feel like a lack of gratitude is common? And do you feel like that's getting in the way of their results?
No, not at all. And what's funny about that, I don't know if it's particularly my clients or all clients who believe in self-development and coaching.
Mhm.
They tend to be doing this 15 years. They tend to be the most positive, the most grateful people who invest in self development. I just think they're a special bunch of people. So they're all very similar in that aspect. So like I don't know if that's just part of the wiring that you need for somebody to be interested in self-development and coaching, but they all have
Mhm.
that
They all have what specifically?
that gratitude gene, the positivity, self-development, gratitude. They got the right attitude. They have optimism. They just everything shines a little bit brighter for them.
Well, just because they say it doesn't mean that they have it.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's already half the battle. There's not many people. I don't see it any other way. 90, and I tell people, unless you're lying, I think you're coachable.
Hmm.
Unless somebody's really faking it. And thankfully, I haven't come across that too often.
Well, it's interesting because I heard this story of a guy, I don't know who he is, but he wrote a very popular book about positive thinking.
Okay.
However, he was the most negative person of all time, but he wrote that book to balance himself out.
That's absolutely fantastic. I love it. I hope it works for him. It sounds like a fantastic idea.
Well, it did work out for him. I don't know his
Good.
name because I
Is
read
it
it in a book and the name was not disclosed in the book.
okay?
But it's
Is
just
it?
interesting how the polarities come into play.
Yeah, he forced himself to live what he preached. I love it.
Yeah.
It's
So what are you
fantastic.
most excited about in your life right now that you're, working towards?
Absolute. I just say more of the same. Steady Eddie, just more of the same. That's it. That's what I'm excited about tomorrow. I'm excited about tomorrow. Every time I get up, every time I wake up, I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's go.
What time do you wake up at?
Way too early. Way too early. And that came with age. That's one of the things they don't like about age. 58, my body wakes up 4, 5 in the morning. I only need 5, 6 hours of sleep. It is absolutely terrible. Well, what are you going to do?
Why
Get
is it
up?
ter why is it terrible
I don't
to
want to be
sleep?
at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to do it. I get 6 hours a night. I want to get 8 hours, but you do what you get. I get up, I do my reading. I do a lot of reading. I make the best of it. But what are you going to do?
What's your morning routine, if you have one?
I'm all about routines. Every single thing in my life is a routine and a system.
Okay.
So it's morning, it's a cup of Joe, and I do my reading. I read an hour or two every morning.
What are you reading right now?
Oh, I read the news, I read business magazines. I'm not necessarily into books. I read the markets. I read everything.
Outside of gratitude, what do you feel like is the most underrated tool system strategy that entrepreneurs can implement in their life?
Other than gratitude, I would say patience. I would say patience, and I really do think it's more and more difficult with the technology that we live in. I call it the Amazon effect.
Mhm.
Everything is happening today. You order something today, it's at my doorstep tomorrow. Uh, it's just patience. It takes a little patience to get where we have to go, and I just find a lot of people don't have the patience
Why do you think that is? Because of what you
because
just said,
we got instant gratification. I want a cheeseburger delivered to me. It could be here in 5 minutes. I want something. Everything is instant. Everything is instant now. So I think
Yeah,
that plays effect on our mindset.
100%. So, Larry, I got one last question for you.
Right.
Let's say it's the end of your life, then everything that you've wanted to do, however,
Mhm.
there's nothing to show for it. There's no books, there's no podcasts, there's no Instagram videos. But you have an amazing piece of technology. It allows you to broadcast an entire message to the world at one time. And you can share three truths, three things that you know to be true about the world around you. What are those three things?
Oh, that's a tough one. Live a live the truth. I think the easiest thing is being
Yeah.
truthful with yourself, truthful with others.
Yeah.
Second one is don't worry about what other people think about you. It's just not important. You know, growing up, I was worried about does this person like me? You know, as you get older and I hit that magic 50 number, you know, it's like I really don't care. I'm not for everybody, and not everybody has to like me, you know?
And
And
nobody,
then
yeah, go on,
what
sorry.
was that? No, no, you said.
I was just gonna say, and you kind of realize nobody was really thinking about you in the first place.
Exactly. Great point. No one cares about us. Exactly. Great point. And then, you know, the last thing is it's just much easier living life being a good person.
What are do you think are like the simple things people can do every day to be a better person?
Is be nice to people who can't do anything for you. That's my barometer.
Ah, I like
That's
that.
how I judge people. Everybody could be nice to people that they could get something from, that they want something.
Uh,
That's okay. I take my hat off to people and I do it every single day. I actually love being nicer to people who can't do anything for me than for people that could do something for me. I get more enjoyment out of that, making somebody's day, making them smile, doing so, just putting a smile on somebody's face.
I love that. Yeah, it's like I've had this conversation with multiple people on the podcast, but this idea of like doing stuff unconditionally.
Right on. You get more out of it than the other person does. I don't know who says this quote, but it's giving giving is the most selfish thing you could do for yourself. It's the most
Uh-huh.
selfish thing. I forget, but I mangled the quote, but you got the gist of it.
Yeah. No, I like
Yeah.
it. Just like I think about saying hi to people. Smile. I think the easiest one is smiling at people.
Thank you. Thank you. Just smiling, acknowledging people. You know how many people I walk by and they say hi and they just look at me and they don't not even no, they don't even acknowledge it. I
Well,
can't
they
even
look down,
I
looking down.
can't I can't even comprehend that somebody could say hello to you and you can't even acknowledge it. I can't even believe it. And when I was younger, I would get mad at that. As I got older, I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
I feel bad for them.
It's just interesting because I feel like I think in America, well, I think there's extremes because I feel like in certain cultures and countries, like you should like there people are taught from a young age not to like. Well, I think there was something I interviewed this guy named Sean Rais on my podcast. Do you know him?
No.
He's from Harlan.
Okay.
In that podcast, he said, "Yeah, where I'm from, like if you smile, you'll get your teeth knocked out."
In the part of Brooklyn where I'm from, if somebody says hello and you don't answer them back, you could also get your teeth knocked out.
Yeah, yeah, it goes both ways.
It goes both ways.
Well, Larry, where can people find you?
They can find me at Larry Vivola on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. At
Right.
Larry Vivola is my username on those platforms.
Well, cool. Well, Larry, I appreciate you so much for being on the show. Enjoyed this one.
Hey, I appreciate this. This was absolutely fun. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.